orientation for 2021-22, sorry, pandemic time. All right, so we're going to talk about safety first. First of all, I want to thank everyone for wearing your mask. I appreciate it. We have at least 6 Wilson staff members who have lost family members to COVID-19, and several staff members are immunocompromised. So again, we thank you for wearing your mask. All right, so now I want to have Principal Bargeman have a moment to talk about Wilson and his exhortation for the year.
Good morning, everyone. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Good evening, everyone. So this is my 21st year at Wilson, and I am excited because today when we welcomed 249 ninth graders into this building, we had 2 sessions, we welcomed them, they were excited. They were excited to be here as we gave the tours. They were excited to find out about parts of the building. For the past year and a half, they have been outside of the school. But the challenge now is to get them back into school and to get them back safely. And this is what I told ninth graders today. I said, usually with ninth grade, there's a transition to get into the new building. But for us, the transition is for all students to get back into the building because all students have been out of the building. The 10th graders, we have an orientation for 10th graders tomorrow. They haven't been in the building. Only a few of them have been in the building. So it's a transition for everyone. Some of the focus for this year will be, we want to get students, as I said, back into the building and get them back safely. We have protocols that the district health department has given us. We have things that the DC Public Schools has given us to make sure that we have a safe environment for students. Now we will have 2,000 students in this building. So we're going to maintain distance as much as possible, at least 3 feet. All students will be wearing masks, and as the assistant principals will go through our COVID protocols today, you will see all the steps we're taking to make sure that students are safe. The other thing, because students have lost a lost academic improvement over the virtual learning, we are also going to have some intensive after-school tutoring that we're going on for students that need it. So we will have an after-school program. We have money that the federal government has given us in order to have those programs after school. The next one is we want to make sure that students feel good when they come back into school. So we're looking at mental health team. Our mental health team, you will hear some of the mental health team that's working with ninth graders. So our mental health team will be here to help students transition back into the building. And last but not least, we are working on one-to-one for all students. One-to-one means that every student will have a computer. We have a computer for all students. Students can use their own, but we will have a computer for all students. After the session today, we were able to give out computers to students. We will be giving out computers to students the rest of the week and all next week. It is our goal to have as many students to have a computer in their hand on the first day of school as possible. We also are working with trying to make sure that we are as digital as possible as we move forward. Teachers will still be standing in front of the class teaching their lessons, but some of the things that we used during COVID, some of the practices that we used on the computer, we will also be using here. There's a lot of things that will be happening as we go through the various COVID protocols, contact tracing, and all of those things that we will be going through. But we will explain those things to you, and hopefully by the end of tonight, or as we move into the first day of school, you'll feel safe about it. And once again, welcome to Wilson High School.
All right, now we will have our PTSO chair, come forth to talk about the PTSO organization.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay? I'm way up there. Thank you. Why did you not sit? Distancing. So my name is Shannon Pemberthy, and I have the honor this year of being the president of our Parent Teacher Student Organization Board, where we do have a board that runs our activities. Every parent and teacher and student, for that matter, is a member of the PTSO. So we want you to feel very welcome here. Obviously, Welcome Back to School has a lot of new meaning this year. And we've been actively working in partnership with the school and with our Student Government Association to make sure that there's a lot of kind of special things that are going to happen those first couple of days when your student returns. There's going to be some water bottles with Tiger logos on them that they're going to get to personalize to help with our new water bottle system. Maybe someone will explain later. We're going to have Tiger logo masks that they're going to get, in addition to the ones that the school also provides. And we're really hoping that we can, get them comfortable as quickly as possible so that they can start with the learning process. So the PTSO has actually been around since the 70s, and we really just do a couple of very simple things here at Wilson. I know many of you probably were very active in homeschools or PTAs or other organizations in your elementary and middle schools. It's a little different at the high school level, and I think you'll start to get a hang of that in the first couple of weeks as your student comes here. But we fundraise, and I'm going to go over that in a lot more detail in a minute. But we do that to give grants. So every teacher in the school about this time of year gets a form, and they can fill it out and apply for grants for different things they'd like to provide in their classroom that they might not have otherwise gotten funding for. That also applies to the administrators. And even last year, without students in here in person, we still funded grants. We still fundraised. We actually had a very robust fundraising year last year. People were shockingly generous. And we funded a campaign, an initiative here on making Wilson a no place for hate school. We funded teacher mentoring to help them adjust to remote teaching and the challenges that they might have had, that augmented programs that the school was implementing. The year before that, we bought new print presses for the art department because students weren't getting to do as much work as they wanted because there was a limitation on the time for the number of presses we had. We've replaced school supplies when the basement flooded. But we also do a lot of other things too. We fund the newspaper, we fund the theater and arts program, and so your dollars there really do matter. The second thing we do is we communicate with you. So you might feel like you're going to start getting a lot of emails and text. We do try to keep it to as a minimum, but you'll hear from things from the school, and then we'll turn around and reiterate that. We're going to try to be as digital as possible this year as well. There'll be things that we'll put in the weekly newsletter that you'll get from Principal Bargeman, but we're also going to tweet a lot, so I really encourage you to follow us. It's at Wilson PTSO, very easy, particularly for up-to-minute quick updates. That's how we will best be communicating. I know that for you as ninth grade parents, incoming ninth graders, the system to communicate with you didn't really go into effect until over the weekend. So you'll start to hear from us more directly. So I will say, we need your help. Again, you are a member, and there's a couple of ways to help. Obviously, fundraising is the biggest thing that we do. The more money we raise, the more we can do for the school. There are different levels of giving. The highest that we ask for is $1,000, and there's incentives. So the little sneak peek I'm going to give you guys tonight is that donations that are made between now and September 30th enroll you in a drawing for a Microsoft Surface 7 Pro 7 laptop. So I encourage you to donate early. And we make it so simple. Literally, you could be doing it right now while I'm talking. You take out your phone, you can text Wilson PTSO to 44321. Takes you to a secure website, and literally by the time I'm done talking, you could have made your donation. It will tell you, you do that one thing for us. There are no tree sales. There's no standing out in December freezing because you're trying to sell trees. There is no gala and there's no auction. Have I win anybody over yet? I can come up with other stuff. We do sometimes do the book sale, Politics and Prose. A lot of that's going to depend on where we are with COVID. We haven't done it in the last 2 years. But that's really kind of it, literally. You do this one thing, and we're not going to ask you anymore. And you might win a Microservice Pro 7 laptop. Sometimes we do some other raffles after that too, but the laptop's the big one. We also could use your help volunteering. I'm a big believer in making hands make light work. We particularly right now need help with hospitality. We'd really like to build out more robust parent programming, but I don't have anybody on the board that can take that on right now. So we are organized the way we work for our work. We have a grants committee, communications committee, hospitality committee, and a fundraising committee. And then we also have grade reps, and I'd like to recognize the grade reps that are here tonight from the 9th grade. So I don't know if Katie Button has arrived yet. And also Stephen Brown, who's here. And you'll be hearing a lot from them right there in the back this year. They are your grade representatives on the CTSO board. So I think I covered everything that I want to say. Oh, 2 more things, quick. I did say you do the one thing, you text Wilson PTSO to 44321. But there are a few other things that come up. This year we're the recipient of the Safeway Foundation Back to School Challenge. Any shopping you do at the Safeway over on Connecticut Avenue up Chevy Chase Circle this month results in a donation to the school. And we're also participants in the Amazon Smile program. There'll be more details in that and some email follow-ups that you get from us. We'll also follow up with links, again, to the fundraising websites. I hope that you guys are as excited as we are about getting our students back in school. And I just say, this administration rocks. Let me tell you, they are fantastic. They're fantastic to work with. And I wish everyone a really great start to the year.
Introduce our class of 2025 team. I am Ms. Summer Blunt. I will be representing students with the last name of A through L, but not limited, because we are a team.
Good evening. I really don't like using microphones. Can y'all hear me up there?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. I am Kendrick Hawkins. I am one of the assistant principals, last name M through Z, but as AP Blunt said, we're here for all of your students, whatever you need, doesn't matter, last name, things like that. I've worked here, I think it's year number 9, wore a lot of hats, been a teacher, dean, been AD, after school coordinator, the whole gang. So long story short, we are here to help your children. We're here for whatever they need, and the end goal is to graduate them in 4 years. All right, so we're going to start introducing the support staff for the class of 2025. A couple of them are here, a couple of them aren't, but you're at least going to see their faces for the most part. First one up is Miss Mays. Say hi, Miss Mays. Hi, Miss Mays. She's one of our counselors. She is responsible for last names A through L. Next up, we have Mr. Bobby Collins. He is the counselor for last names M through Z. Next up, so you'll see a tiger face with a couple of these photos. Miss Morgan Moore, she is a Wilson alum, but she is new to working to the building. So the tiger face is just that she hasn't been or hasn't had the opportunity to be in the building to take a photo. So she's a tiger, but that is the dean of students for the class of 2025. Social workers. So we have 2 social workers for the grade level. Miss Phyllis Ford Berger, she is for last names A through L. Same thing applies while you see the tiger face there. She's new to the building, hasn't had the opportunity to take a photo. And that is Miss Allen, and she's responsible for last names M through Z. Miss Paulette James is the attendance counselor. There's only one attendance counselor for the class of 2025. All things attendance goes through her. We do have some attendance information for you all later in the presentation. School psychologists. We have 3 school psychologists. They're not assigned to a grade level or a caseload by last name, but we do want to share with you all our 3 school psychologists. The first one is Dr. Ficue. Next one is Dr. V. And the last one is Dr. Arrington. Those, again, are our 3 school psychologists. All right, COVID. Of course, topic of everybody's life at this point, right? So we want to discuss a couple of COVID protocols with you all. We are aware that the mayor and the chancellor just sent out some recent information as far as updated COVID protocols and things like that. So we're going to work on implementing them as we get closer and closer to the first day of school. So all students must wear a mask, and this applies for all adults in the building as well. Again, thank you all for wearing your mask. Hand sanitizer will be throughout the entire building. There's been hand sanitizer in front of the auditorium. You'll see them literally everywhere. Water bottle dispensaries are throughout the building. We understand with masks and with COVID, it's going to be very challenging for our students and unsafe for them to unmask themselves and actually drink from a water fountain. So there will be water fountain dispensaries for water bottles throughout the building. Filter air purifiers will be in all of our classrooms. They'll be in the gymnasiums as well. They're dependent on the class size, room size. You'll see big, different size air filters. Students will maintain 3 feet apart if possible and when possible. We will do that all the time. This morning during both of our freshman orientation sessions, we had students seat 1 seat, then a gap, 1 seat. So we try to keep that consistent and just get them prepared for that 3 feet of distance that we want them to abide by. So at the bottom, students will be provided with the following on the first day of school. They will receive a face mask. They will receive a Wilson water bottle. They'll receive hand sanitizer and the option for COVID testing. They'll do the screening, the temperature at the front as well. So you'll see that the little checkpoints at the front as they enter the building. Daily safety routine. Our building opens for students, of course, unless they have like an athletic or a club that meets before 8 o'clock. It's only a very small select few of sports that have practice before school starts. But typically our building is open from 8 to 8:55 for students. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention. I see people taking pictures. We are recording this right there. Mr. Thompson, thank you for recording this. I forgot to mention that. We are recording this. We will post the video on the school website, and we're going to post this PowerPoint as well. So you won't have to take any pictures or anything like that. It will be available for you all tomorrow. So back to the daily safety routine. 8 to 8:55, the building will be open. Students can come, sit in the atrium, do what they need to do before the start of school. For our 9th graders, all 9th graders must enter through the main entrance. We have 2 entrances. The other entrance is for our upper grade levels. So again, 9th graders got to enter through the main entrance. Hand sanitizer station will be at the front. There will be a mask check as they enter the building as well. I'll report to class. There will be a first bell at 8:50 every morning. That is letting the students know, like, hey, go to your lockers, do what you need to do, and start heading towards your first period class. The tardy bell is at 9 o'clock, and we'll speak a little bit more a little later about attendance. Class transition, so from first period, second period, and so forth, is 4 minutes. 11:52 to 12:37, it says student-teacher enrichment period. That is what we call STEP, also known as lunch. Why is it called this? During this time in the regular school year, this is when our students go to their clubs. This is when teachers host their office hours. This is when students go outside, go to the gym, play sports, activities, things like that. So it's been, since before I got here, it's been called STEP, so we're continuing to call it STEP. So when you hear your child say STEP, you hear one of us say STEP, we're just talking about lunch. Students, third step, students will be able to eat lunch in the stadium, and we've opened this up for COVID reasons. They'll be able to eat lunch in the stadium, Rose Garden, cafeteria, digital media center, which is also our library, and the art terrace. Of course, if it's inclement weather, there will be, we'll make some provisions for that. Also new this year is grab and go. We'll have for lunch, we'll have a grab and go lunch station for our students. We do serve hot lunches, and we do have pre-made salads. And then also we have a bevy of staff members that will be on post, or what we call duty posts, during step period throughout the building. So there's always people and adults around to assist our students. Dismissal will look different this year. We typically, on a regular year or a traditional year, we have only one exit, and that's through the main entrance. This year, we are going to open up the A wing, which is by our oxygen, or through our oxygen for students to exit. In the B and C wing, we're actually currently in the C wing. So if you walked up, or when you walk out, you'll see to the right down those steps, there is an exit. So that will now be an exit for our students. And then the main building. So we'll still have the main entrance to exit, and then also something else that is new on the stadium, up on the second floor, we're going to allow our students to exit through the stadium field. There's some gates and things like that that allow them to exit and just help with the flow of all the students trying to exit the building. Yes.
I just had to mention the best part of STEP, aka lunch. Guess what? It's free for our Wilson students. Now back to the regularly scheduled.
Sorry, I forgot the most important part. What's free this year? I'm so sorry. All right, so let's take a look at the bell schedule. Bell schedule is very simple. Our students are going to take 4 periods. It's a little more trickier than that. I'll explain that in a few. But this is the gist of the bell schedule, 4 periods. Each period is 82 minutes. Lunch or step is 45 minutes. All right, Ms. Mates.
Well, good evening and welcome to Wilson High School. My name is Patrice Mates, and I am starting my 12th year here at Wilson High School. Unfortunately, my partner, Mr. Collins, isn't here tonight, but I'm happy to tell all of you, as 9th grade families, Mr. Collins and I had the 12th graders last year, and I'm very proud to let you know we graduated over 425 students during a pandemic. So what I'm here to tell you today is anything is possible. Work with us, and we will absolutely work with you. So some of the words we want to talk to you tonight are honors. What is honors? We have honors for all in many of our classes, and for 9th grade students this year, there's honors English, honors algebra, honors biology. And yes, an honors class will give your student a 0.5 numerical bump for their GPA. AP is advanced placement. Those are college prep classes. 9th graders will not be offered advanced placement classes. We will talk about them further down the road as your children get ready to enter 10th grade and further up. Carnegie units and credits, that's what we call our each class. It's used in, it doesn't really matter either way. It's 1 credit or 0.5 credit, which is a half. GPA, this is a word that I have found in all the years I've been here at Wilson. It sometimes has a very difficult connotation. I reminded all of our children this morning, grade point average is a number. It is not who you are. You are a human being, you have feelings, and you are emotional. So please, when you go home and talk to your children about GPA, keep that in mind after this past year and a half. It just lets them know how they're doing academically in the building. And yes, we're on a 4.0 scale. Rank, that's another word that I get a little crazy about sometimes. So rank is on our official transcript, and it tells your children where they stand in the cohort. I believe this year in 9th grade, you may have about 600 children. They could be number 5, they could be number 200, they could be number 450. Again, I don't assign any real value to the number. It's important that your child feels good about who they are in the building, what they're doing, and academically strong. We will help them when they're ready to start working on improving that number or improving their academic GPA. Oh, I'm sorry, transcript. A grade report that shows your semester grade. So every student has a high school transcript. I'm sure most of you remember yours, maybe your college transcript. It will show all the courses that your children take over every year in school. Only the final grade at the end of the year will show. There will be no report card grade. These are the items that we're going to send when it's college time to the college so that they can review your child's high school history. CLCP is college level or career prep courses. DC Public Schools requires every student to graduate with 2 CLCP credits. There are 2 ways to get these credits. The first one is to take advanced placement classes, an AP English, let's say, so that would give them the English credit, and it will also give them 1 CLCP credit. There are many children who say, you know, Ms. Mates, I really don't think I want to take advanced placement. That's okay. We're going to hope that we're going to get every student to take at least 1. But in the instance where they may not be ready, we have computer classes, we have JROTC classes, and we have business classes. So there's something here for everybody. Before I review the graduation requirements, I want to ask you one thing in the middle of my conversation here. If you could just take a second to reflect back when you were getting ready to go to 9th grade and how you felt right before you had to go to your orientation, and how did you feel before school started? This year is a special year for your children. They've been home for about a year and a half. So some of those things that you may have felt, if you can share them with your children, so when they come back to us on August 30th, it might be really helpful for them to know that everybody sometimes has butterflies when they start high school. Graduation requirements. It is online on the Wilson website, but I'm going to go over them for you. Every student will graduate with 4 English, 4 math, 4 science, and 4 social studies. They will also graduate with 2 world language credits, a half a credit in art, a half a credit in music, and in health and physical education, they will take 2 semesters of PE and 1 semester of health. It is required. And electives, your children will have the opportunity to choose up to 3.5 electives. So though the total, as you can see, is 24, don't forget that we said we have 2 CLCP credits that every student must get. And for those that choose not to take AP, they will have the additional 2 credits, 26 or more. Most of our kids graduate with more credits because we do 8 each year. 4 times 8 would be 32. Next. Also, this year DCPS has gone back to reinstituting community service hours. As I told the kids this morning, it's really important to give back to your community. The whole purpose of community service is to do something for someone who needs some support or some assistance. We always suggest that kids do something that they like, that they care about, that they have passion. Maybe it's a faith-based organization, maybe it's the library, maybe it's an animal shelter. But please, if you would, encourage your kids to look at that this year. And I think a good idea is to suggest that they do 25 hours a year. It makes life so much easier for them down the road. This is the back of the official high school transcript. This is called the Letter of Understanding. As your kids go through school, Mr. Collins and I will review their transcript every year with them individually. We'll sit them down, and then we will have them sign off on their transcript at the end of every school year to ensure they understand exactly the requirements in DC Public High Schools. If you look at the column on the far left, it tells you the course description. Every course that they need is listed on this column. The second column says required units. The next one says what's completed. If there's a 0, they just haven't gotten to it yet. Look to the right, there's one that says completed stats. So right now your kids probably have mostly 0s. Some may come in here with Algebra 1 credit. Some may come in with language credit. Otherwise, everything by the end of 4 years must be 100% complete. Schedule change request process. So this becomes a process for all of us. We did this last year. We're doing it online. Your student will have access to a form that is online. We will not do this face-to-face and in person this year. Students will be able to submit one online schedule request change. We're not going to do multiple forms. So anything that they have a concern about needs to go into one form. All forms will be due to us no later than, well, there's September 3rd. Please, we ask you to understand, be open heart with us, open mind. We will guarantee your core content. We will guarantee your world language. The harder part for us this year is the electives. We have lots of children. We may not be able to give them every elective that they wanted. So we're asking you to partner with us. If they get an elective that they don't like, Mr. Collins and I will do our very best to try to look at their schedule, see if we can figure it out, and if there's a seat available, we'll do that. If not, please understand they must have a class in that space. Counselors will complete, oh, that's okay. Counselors will complete this, and we will respond back to your children via email. This is the online schedule request change form. It's very easy to read. We just want to make sure that kids write down the information we ask for, and please make sure that they understand there's a deadline date. Sometimes kids forget to read that. And all of our email addresses are on the bottom. Mr. Collins and I will do our very best to get back to your kids within probably 24 to 48 hours, but please understand we will have hundreds of emails to review. Okay?
All right. Thank you, Ms. Mates.
You got it.
All right, so I almost skipped this slide or hit it. With PowerPoint, you can hide slides. Because we went over this with our students this morning, but I thought it would be beneficial to walk you through the schedule and how to read your student's schedule. This year we're using, we're doing a 4x4 alternating Friday schedule. I know that doesn't mean anything to you, but it means a lot to us. It is a very unique and new schedule for Wilson as a whole. So it will take a couple of weeks for our students to get familiar with it, and honestly, some of our staff. Again, it is new to us. All right, so let's walk through the schedule. This is a real schedule for a incoming ninth grader. Obviously, there's no name up there, but this is a real schedule. So at the top, you'll see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, F1, which means Friday 1, and F2, which means Friday 2. On the left, you'll see 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that is for the period. So period 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's take a look. First period on Monday, this student is taking English 1. English 1 is a full credit class, meaning this class will meet every day. So this class is going to meet Monday through Friday. It doesn't matter if it's an F1 or F2, they're going to go to English. First period. Second period is honors geometry. This is another full credit class. Same thing applies. This class, this student will go to this class Monday through what we're going to say now F2. Third period is engineering. That is another full credit class. Same thing applies. Monday through F2. Third period, the student is going to go to engineering. Fourth period, this is where it gets a little tricky. Our 0.5 credit classes are on two different patterns. One pattern is a class will meet on Monday, Wednesday, and F1 or Friday 1. And then the other 0.5 credit class during the same period is going to meet on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday 2. So for this student, the student has imaging A on Monday. Then on Tuesday, they're going to go to fitness and lifetime sports 1. All that is our PE 1. So when you see what is fitness, lifetime sports, it's just literally our PE 1. Wednesday, they're going to go back to Images A. Thursday, they're going to go back to Fitness or PE 1. And then, depending on which Friday it is, determines which class they go to on Friday. So if it's at Friday 1, they're going to go to Imaging A. If it's a Friday 2, they're going to go to Fitness and Lifetime Sports. We will have signs throughout the building signifying whether it is a F1 or Friday 1 or a F2 Friday 2. I know it's a lot. It's going to take us a lot to get a hang of it, but we're going to get there. All right, attendance. First period class starts at 9 a.m. If you enter the classroom or if your student enters the classroom after 9 a.m., they will be marked tardy for the class. If you are tardy to the class, please make sure that you have a pass when entering the classroom. Sometimes our entrances do get a little backed up, so we will make an announcement if there's like a log jam, if there's a metro issue or anything like that. We will announce that, and then our students will not be marked tardy in those cases. Again, we really encourage our students to get here early. Don't plan to get here at 9 o'clock because you're never going to get to class on time. Attendance, what is excused and what is unexcused? Excused, court, illness, college visits, only for 11th and 12th graders, religious holidays, medical appointments, and a death in an immediate family. What is unexcused? Cutting class, running errands, shopping, babysitting, vacation, oversleeping. Very simple. Dismissal, excuse notes, and attendance. All excuse notes and early dismissals must be submitted online at wilsonhs.org, and then click on quick links, and then you'll see the form for that. Parents have 5 consecutive days. We're going to say that again, 5 consecutive days to submit all documentation for excused absences. Notes submitted after the 5-day time frame will not be accepted. Early dismissals must be submitted online through the Wilson's website. Once it's been processed, you can pick it up at the main office, or main entrance at the security loading desk. We're going to hold those to the end, questions to the end. If your parent or guardian cannot be reached by phone to confirm the early dismissal, we will not allow your child or student to leave the building. We have an 80-20 rule that is still in play. So if a student misses one class and we do not receive an excuse note, that student will be marked absent for the day. 5 unexcused absences must have an SST meeting with you and the guardian, so it'll be the student and the parent. Will have to come in for an SST meeting with the attendance counselor. 7 unexcused absences, you will be placed on attendance progress sheets. That just simply means the student has to come to school on time and get it signed off by each of their teacher, typically for a week or 2 to get off of that tracker. 10 unexcused absences, you will be referred to the PASS program. That is a program that we don't run here at this school, but it helps with truant students as well. It's just a program that we have to put our students into when they reach that 10 unexcused absences. And lastly, 15 unexcused absences, the attendance counselor will have to complete the official truancy referral.
All right, so we'll talk about, We'll talk about our social workers' roles and responsibilities with regards to mental health and self-care. Individual and group therapy is provided and crisis intervention. Support of students and families with 504 plans, special education support, or ESL services are available. Recommendations regarding learning strategies, classroom management, and academic support. We have workshops and training opportunities for students and parents covering a variety of topics, and increased support for students with significant mental health and or emotional concerns. We have electronic referral forms for mental health and counseling support that can be found on our website under the Mental Health Services tab. And you can also contact our social worker. And we do have social workers with the last names A through L and then M through Z, which is also on our website.
All right, academies. So we like to promote our academies as basically like a major in college. They're very small learning communities, where students get the opportunity to take courses in their interests, in areas of interest. So we have, I think it's about 8 academies in the building. All of our academies, other than one, and then one pathway through another, our students cannot start until 10th grade. So we want to give you this information on the front end. We should have some point people or contact people who run our academy programs, but we just want to give you the gist of all of our academies. The first one, Academy of Finance. They concentrate on building and protecting wealth, how to save and invest, manage financial assets, and understand money. Science, math, and technology. The biomed is the only one, well, one of the two that 9th grade students have an opportunity to take, obviously during the freshman year. We also have an engineering pathway under this academy. We have a computer science pathway, and we also have environmental science under this academy. This is a newer one, Academy of Creative Media. We basically merged our digital media classes and programs with our mass media and communication programs as well. Mass media is TV production. Our students throughout the year, you'll just see, well, your students or children will see just groups of kids recording things, making videos all throughout the building and outside of the school, and that's part of the Academy of Creative Media. Hospitality and tourism, this is like our newest academy here at Wilson. And they specify in hotel ownership, travel agents, human resource associates, restaurant owners, general managers, marketing directors, and event planners. This academy, they literally put together, plan, host our proms, school dances. If we have any like award ceremonies and things like that, that is what our Academy of Hospitality and Tourism do for us. JROTC. This is not a military recruitment program at all, but the emphasis of this is leadership and a lot of things that the military does promote and present to our individuals. This is our oldest academy. It literally opened the year the school opened, and I believe that's 1935. So it's up and running. They do very well. They go travel. They compete. It's a very strong academy here. WIS. So Wilson International Studies Program. And part of this academy, as part of the pathway, we require our students to take 4 years of a world language. We also make our students, a part of this academy, take some of our foreign studies classes, so like African American studies, Asian studies, Middle Eastern studies. It's a great program. We do have some abroad partnerships as well for students going abroad and receiving students from abroad. AAA, Academic Athletic Achievement Academy. So all of us, me included, you're not going to make it professional in all sports, but that doesn't mean you don't have a passion for sports. So fitness, sports management, and marketing, coaching, broadcasting, athletic training. They do a lot of the recording with Mr. David Thompson as well. As part of the Wilson Live, they help out with managing games, recording games, things like that. These are the two contact people for the academies. On the left is Mr. Alex Wilson. He's been here literally for forever. I don't know how else to say that, but he's the point person for that. And he's the director of the Hospitality and Tourism Academy, but they're the point person for all academies. He's the point person for all academies. And then right below him is Mr. Brandon Williams. He's the coordinator of Hospitality and Tourism Academy. We're also going to have a new director for our Science, Math, and Technology Academy. It's new to the building as well. It's just a district initiative, so we're going to welcome that young lady as well. Fall sports. Athletic Director Gore is coming to the stage.
Good evening, Wilson Tigers. Many of you are either Hardy Hawks, Oyster Adams Tigers, or Deal Vikings, but now you're all Wilson Tigers, and we welcome you to Wilson. We have already begun our fall sports seasons. We are following the COVID protocols already. Students get scanned in with a QR code, they wear masks, they bring their own water, we socially distance. If they're inside, they're wearing masks unless they're competing. So we are going to follow all the protocols in place. We are going to be having spectators at our events, but even inside or outside, you have to come with a mask. We have many sports. We have over 40 sports here. DCIAA, the DC Public Schools, offers about 20. We have 20 more. And the reason we're able to do that, just like you heard from the PTSO, they support our academic and our art programs. We have a Tiger Athletic Boosters that supports our athletic programs, our baseball boosters, and our crew boosters. So we need parents to do that because 20 teams are not funded by the city. So we're trying to fund 20 different teams. In fact, as soon as I finish here with you, I'm getting on a Zoom meeting with our booster board and all of our coaches as we ramp up for the fall seasons. We really encourage your students to get involved, whether it's athletically or with our art program, music program, or our extracurricular clubs and activities. She's not here tonight, but Dion Clemens is heading up that. We have over 60 different clubs and activities that meet at lunchtime, some before school, some after school. So probably 2 or 3 weeks into the school year, we'll have a club and activity fair where your students can choose to get involved in something they're interested in. Nadira Ricks is our assistant athletic director and our head girls basketball coach. She's unable to be here tonight. And Miss Jamila Watson is our certified athletic trainer. And so she takes care of all our student athletes. We sent out a mailing with the school mailing about all the different seasons. We have a fall season, winter, and spring seasons. And we have roughly 15 teams every season. That's about right. And over 300 athletes every season. I don't think there's another school in the city that has 300 athletes in a year. We have that many, 350, I think, this fall. So we're excited to have you. We want your students to be involved. And by supporting the boosters, we're able to offer as many teams as we can. There are some, as we're ramping up, having been off, we had a whole year of no sports. We did start in the spring and had over 300 athletes this spring and had no issues with COVID because we followed all the protocols. So we hope that continues both in school and with all of our extracurriculars. Thank you.
All right, now we have Aspen Assistance. You will be contacting Diana Moratai for Aspen Assistance for password, parent protocol, etc. Where do I go for assistance with Kids Ride Free card? That would be Mark Martin. He's the dean of 11th grade. And then we have already disseminated technology devices for our 1-to-1 today. And we have the schedule, as you see up here, for our 9th graders. It was this morning at 9 o'clock and then at 6 o'clock. We have another dissemination process in the atrium. And then we have the 10th through 12th, of course, but we are the 9th grade, so we will abide by that.
Before you
And
go,
for all students, yes.
Was that the type of thing that they're right?
This is after tonight.
yeah, so just real quick, our IT coordinator specialist, he had to go home today. We wanted to give you all the opportunity this evening after the orientation to pick up a device for your child, but we're not going to be able to do that. So we're going to communicate to you all the makeup day and time to pick up devices for your students.
It's not the 22nd. Will there be a special makeup day for 9th grade?
Yes, I believe it's going to be Monday from 9 to 3. I just got to confirm, but you can, as of right now, you can, if you need to come up here or need to send your student up here on Monday, that'll be perfectly fine. We'll be able to issue them a device. Our hope is that they come up here because the first week of school, we got 2,100 students. The lines will be pretty long to get devices, so it may be a week or two to get everybody to that one initiative that we're working toward.
And also, makeup for all students will be August 27th from 9 to 3:30. It is. Oh, it wasn't? Can everyone hear me or not? I said makeup day for all students will be on the 27th from 9 to 3:30 in case you can't make it on Monday. And now, do we have any questions? We have a few minutes for questions. Yes, sir.
If I may ask two questions. One is on the excused absence for sports. You didn't list that as one of the criteria.
Yeah, I can speak on that. So they will be excused.
Let me ask my second question, if I may. About these free lunches, do you provide lunches for athletes after school?
Okay, so I can answer the first question is, so if there's a sporting event, athletic event, your student will be excused, and that is the responsibility of athletic director and department to make sure they get that information to our attendance counselor to make sure your student is excused for a sporting event. They gotta leave early, it happens all the time, excuse me, but they will be excused. And second question, again, say it one more time.
If you could explain more about these free lunches that you're offering, what they include, hot meal, cold meal, beverage, snack. What about after-school snacks for athletes?
Because of the COVID, the district applied for COVID funds, and they looked at the whole district. So actually, the whole district is getting free breakfast, free lunch, and if the school applies for it, they can get free supper. And supper will, could be, it's based on how many students they will feed after school. So athletes can get Mr. Gore, we can call people out and apply for supper after school. So we can get all three of those items. But it's only for this year, upcoming year.
Yes, sir.
Yes, hi. First of all, thanks so much for the very informative orientation. Really appreciate it. I have a question. Our daughter went to orientation this morning, and she was told that because she doesn't have an account, she couldn't get a device until the first day of school. So I just wanted to confirm that that's the case, that she'll have to wait for the first day of school because she doesn't have an account.
Well, is she new? Is your daughter new to?
Yeah, she's new to, yeah, she's coming from a non-public school, so she was told you don't have an account. So we have your device, but we can't give it to you because you don't have an account. Just wait till you start classes. But based on the presentation and the makeup dates, I just want to make sure that we just have to wait for school to begin.
It takes a little while for the account to go through when you're a new student, but it should be prior to, and hopefully it would be by the 27th, and she would be able to get a machine by then. It takes a little while for it to be processed.
We got an answer to that. If they're a new student, it just takes 24 hours for them to get processed in the system. So, I think we probably didn't turn them away. We probably just said, hey, you'll have to come tomorrow because you're brand new.
Okay, so will the school set up the account for her? Is that how it
If
works?
she's registered, it'll happen automatically.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We can't give a device out to a student without an account because they can't log into the device.
Yeah, based on the presentation, the question is, do we have to wait for the first day of school, or can we go to one of the main?
No, just see me afterwards, we'll talk.
Great, thank you. Thanks.
That was, Mr. Thompson, you want to say who you are?
We'll come to the front.
So I didn't realize I was going to be presenting today, so I'm wearing shorts and black shoes and socks. But so I do education technology here. My responsibility is to make sure that every teacher can work with your student in a one-to-one. So this is actually really huge that we're one-to-one this year. You're welcome to use your own device. Personal device process has not been developed yet because it's so new. But you're welcome to do that. We have devices to give to students, and come in, and we'll get them set up. So if they miss today, come in tomorrow, come in on Friday. Well, Friday is probably not so good because this is the first day for teachers and stuff, but Monday works. So I'm happy to answer any questions if they're directed towards Greg, if they come in towards me.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Did the ninth graders today get their schedule?
Oh. Sorry, I'm also the master scheduler as well. I see some gray hairs from up there. And I forgot, thank you for that question. I totally forgot about that. Schedules will go live, tentative schedules will go live and be available to be viewed starting Monday, August 23rd in Aspen. We're saying tentative because our counselors, our entire counselor team are working very hard to fill holes, what we call holes, or just simply complete our student schedules for the first day of school. So again, they're tentative because next week we're still going to be working on the schedule, the master schedule, cleaning up some things. So you may see a schedule on Monday, you might look back again on Tuesday and Wednesday like, elective change. It's not that we wanted to kick your student out or child out. It's just simply a balancing thing. There's only so many students that can go into each class period in each classroom. So we just have to do a balancing thing regarding that. So again, they'll be visible August 23rd, tentative schedules, and then first day of school, they'll actually get a physical copy of their real schedule. How are they going to get their schedule? So when your student or child walks into the building, enters the building, in our atrium, we have these big pillars. On there's going to be spreadsheets on the pillars and throughout the building. It's going to have all the students, every student, first name, last name, and it's going to have a classroom number. That classroom number is their first period class. They're going to go to that class, and then their teacher is going to have a physical copy of their schedule. They're going to give them their schedule, and then from there they go to second period, third period, fourth period. Okay, so sorry we missed that part.
I got one more question, I won't bother. So the first week of school for these ninth graders coming in, are you going to be like lenient or giving them a little leeway about getting to their class?
Oh, absolutely. They're most likely going to be lost. We had 2 or 4 of them this morning, by the way. But it's a lot for them. They might be overwhelmed. So yes, we have a grace period. It's a small grace period, but we have a grace period.
We got questions up top.
Oh, I'm sorry, up top.
It's the glare.
Yes, sir. Way up top in the black shirt.
Oh.
That's you.
So I got a question. You showed the schedule, we got doing a block schedule. So
4 by 4?
What does it look like in the second semester? So for instance, if you take English first period, are you still taking English in the second semester, or is it a whole new cycle of courses?
They have a whole new cycle of courses, and when it's 0.5, it's probably another 0.5 to that course.
So
Sometimes, depending on what it
English
is.
won't be for the full year traditionally, it'll just be for the...
Right, it won't be the full year.
Yeah, so basically the entire process I explained to you, they walk in, they see they got to go find their name for first period, go to the first period class, get their schedule. That entire process happens again during semester 2 as well, because they're going to get a whole new set of classes for semester 2.
All
Let's
right.
go on this side.
Go ahead.
So follow up on that. So could it be that like I have all my core classes the first half of the year, and then all electives, or like?
So, trying to schedule 2,100 students is very challenging, right? And meet everybody's needs and requests is very challenging. So what we do is we let the computer do the majority of the work. We literally, it's a system we use. We pump in all the course requests for the students, and it blasts out the highest probability to meet all of those course requests for our students, right? So in this case, because we have so many students, we have a lot of what we call one-off classes. So it might be we only offer one AP psychology class the entire school year, right? So long story short, it could happen that your child might have core in the first semester and electives in the second, but our counselors are doing their best to make sure that doesn't happen. But like I just said, it's never going to be perfect, so we're trying to do our best to appease that.
So I'm going to jump in real fast for you, and I'm going to tell you that Mr. Collins and I are doing our absolute best as we review your children's schedule. I've been here long enough to know some of the questions, and I knew this would come up tonight. we're going to try to give them 2 core content one semester and 2 core content the second. In the instance where we can't, again, please understand, work with us. We will do everything we can to make this an easy transition. We know it's a tough year.
Can we, up top, I want Miss, yes, ma'am, Jean Jackson.
Speaking of coding rhythm right now, I would like to know how many students are going to be in the class? And also, are these kids going to be transferred, or the staff is going to be with the kids in each class with the stationary?
So, first part, around 30. We've got guidance from central office to schedule like a regular school year. To be quite honest, if we went any lower than that, we would need 2, 3 more buildings. Just being quite honest with you. What was your second question?
Are the teachers going to be stationary, or, I mean, are the kids going to be stationary?
Transition into different classes, like are they going to be transferring to different classes this year? Or are they going to be stationary where the teachers are going to be coming to them to teach the subject?
Gotcha. Students will be moving. Students will be moving from period 1.
Are they going to have specified like seating areas in each classroom? Or are they going to just sit anywhere when it comes to different classes?
They will have assigned seats.
Yeah, students will have assigned seats. They will have to sit in those assigned seats for each of their classes. So students won't be able to, move around in the classroom. And we're trying to be creative as possible about doing group work, that we will probably use the Teams program on their computers to sort of try to do group work by setting them up in teams. Although they'll be in their class, they'll be able to talk to other people through their computer as a team, other people within the classroom, so they can create teams still sitting in the same seat.
So how does the materials go?
The what?
The materials, when it comes to science, going towards one-on-one, when it comes to grouping?
Will other students be touching the same things like cleaning processes?
Yeah, we're working with the science teachers, and our science teachers, they're going through PD starting Friday to cope with COVID, new things, new way of teaching, sanitation and things like that, especially with regards to science like that. So they have their district-led training next Tuesday and Thursday, so they'll get a lot of training on that.
And we will be looking at how they will do labs also. So labs will require them to be in the lab moving around. We have masks, we have shields, we have gowns for them to wear. So the science teachers are coming up with a way to make sure students are as safe as possible.
This is a question about Aspen. Already have Aspen, does it change or the law is still the same, or do we have to do a whole new process with it?
Login should stay the same.
And for those who don't, how do we do it?
Can you repeat the question, please? We can't hear about it.
All right, sorry. Does your Aspen login stay the same if you already have it? Yes, it does. If you don't, you're going to contact Ms. Mortai. Her information was up there. You can find her, Diana Mortai, Morayata. She's the point person for Aspen assistance.
I have a question over here.
My question was piggyback off the sanitizing. I know you guys talked about the labs, but as you said, you want to have these, 530 kids in class. In between those classes, how are the desks and so forth sanitized?
Great question. All right, so, absolutely. Okay, every class during dismissal, and for some teachers, both dismissal and entrance, will be sanitizing the desk. The students will be sanitizing their desks, and some teachers will be sanitizing all of their desks. It depends on what the teacher prefers, but I know that some teachers, for a fact, will be doing the entrance sanitation and the exit, but most are definitely expected to do the exit sanitation so that the other class can enter appropriately.
I have a question regarding testing. So are you going to be tested on a regular basis, and if there is a COVID case in the classroom, what will you do?
Yes.
Repeat the question.
Repeat the question, please.
She's asking about testing. Will students be tested? If we have a consent form that we have given out for parents, if you sign the consent form, we will test them. If students show symptoms, we will test them in the morning. But we have to have those consent forms signed before we're able to do that.
Will that test be without symptoms to find cases or
No, just only if there's symptoms.
And what if there's a positive test?
If it's a positive test, the reason why we have students in assigned seating, and we will have, the students will be quarantining those within 3 feet of that individual. If you're within 3 feet of that individual, we'll be quarantining those people within that class.
And if the student has been going from class to class, the reason that there are assigned seats, as he said, is so that we can have a tracker. So we're going to be able to trace it.
Yes, ma'am.
I have 2 questions. One, is the expectation that they'll bring their laptops home and then back to school each day?
They will keep them until the end of the year.
Okay, but they'll need to have them both at school and
Yes.
at home?
We'll
Okay.
have to have them at school.
And will teachers potentially be teaching kids who are remotely learning as well as the kids in the classroom?
No. Well,
So students are expected to carry their laptops, home and back to school, because that's the one-to-one protocol. And then the next question was,
Will teachers be teaching kids learning remotely as well as the kids in the classroom?
no, teachers are not expected to teach virtually.
So if kids are quarantined, how do they access? What's the remote
But-
learning plan?
But-
Go ahead.
but if a teacher is quarantined, the teacher will probably, I think it said that the teacher will be teaching virtually from home to the classroom.
But if kids are quarantined, how do they access?
If the students are quarantined, it all depends. I think it's several scenarios in which, but if enough students are quarantined, they will be, we have an option for simulcast for the teacher, for students. So if we simulcast, the students will be able to log on to see what's going on in the class.
But we'll make sure that there's accommodations. We won't just, have the student going without because they're quarantined. The student will be, their accommodations will be met via the teacher.
Yeah, question.
So I'm a little concerned about 4 minutes to get across the building with 2,100 students all moving at once, and they have to clean their desks. Is there any way that we could spread that out? We've done really well at the beginning of the day, end of the day, lunch, but it seems like that transition period is so tight and really dense.
Well, the 4 minutes is for, a lot of times, when we had 5 minutes, students would sort of linger around in the hallways before they went to the class. We need for students to go directly to their class from whatever class they're going to the next class. We need to get them there as quickly as possible. We can't have students lingering around because, we have to do contact tracing there, so students have to go straight to their classroom, and that's what we sort of shortly, by 1 minute so they can get to class.
But you have more density as the kids are moving. So if you spread it out, they're really get closer to each other. I get what you're saying, but if they also have to clean their desks, will they mark late?
No, they clean their desks prior to the end of the period for the class. They don't clean it after the class. Yes, ma'am.
Super easy question. Do they carry backpacks?
Yes.
Okay.
Will supplies be coming also with the materials that Steve can need? I mean, now that they're carrying laptops, are they going to need the traditional notebooks and things that they needed prior to this?
It would be based on the teacher's syllabus. The teacher will let them know, but we're pushing teachers to be as paperless as possible, turning things in electronically.
Because it's one-to-one, the parent guardian asked if students were still required to bring the normal supplies like notebooks and things of that nature, and it is based on the teacher's syllabus.
But I would just have a pad on the first day, a pad of paper for that first day.
We got one up top.
Yeah. Briefly about the academic benefit of the 4x4 layout and plan.
What is the benefit of the 4x4?
Well, one of the reasons why we're having a 4x4 and it's for in case we have to move from in-person learning back to virtual learning. We don't know, so we're still continuing with the 4x4 block scheduling, just in case. Because last time we had 8 periods going and it was a mess. And it was district mandated also. Vote.
Just transportation-wise, do you know, are the buses running on normal scale, like the Wilson bus that normally runs? Have you been in touch with the DC transportation?
As far as we're concerned, as far as we know, yes, everything is going to be back to normal.
We haven't been told anything, but yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Will they get email addresses? Will send email addresses?
Students? Yes.
Repeat the question, please.
Well, the students get email addresses from DCPS, and that's absolute. They have an account, they will have an email address. I have a question over here from this ma'am. Ma'am, right here.
We're trying to understand if in the COVID positive scenario, do you have sort of a plan where if it's just a single student and then the, four students or whatever around them are quarantined? It sounds like there's no explicit plan for how in 1 or 2 weeks they get continuous academic access. And then at what point, if you have multiple cases, you switch to virtual or just a single teacher or for broader group? I'm curious how much scenario planning you have and how
We have that, how it's broken down, how you're supposed to quarantine for 7 days. We have 3 different scenarios for teachers. We can share that on our website with you, but we don't have that with us tonight.
It is shared, we have a slide, the COVID slide, and the title is underlined because it's a hyperlink, and that leads you to more details about the protocol of COVID-19. It's a lot more of the slides, so for the sake of time, we want to hit the target mark, but it does have a detailed plan that we have to abide by. You're welcome.
Up here in the corner.
Go for it.
So we got a question. When the child, for instance, they don't pass a course in the first semester, they got to wait the following year to make it up, or can they take it a second semester?
So we offer what's called credit recovery here at Wilson High School all through the city. And what I'm going to suggest as a 9th grade student, we're going to move your student forward with the next course that is currently on their semester 2. And then when credit recovery becomes available, depending upon how your child is doing at that time, they may take credit recovery. I want you to know that's after school. So that would be another course on top of the 4 they're taking during the day. Or the best option has always been we send them to summer school, and that way they have the appropriate attention and time, and they're not overly stressed taking a class.
Okay. Okay, so we are going to have about 3 more questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So will you all provide study hall? And if so, will it be during lunchtime, during end of school?
We don't have a study hall period. If it's a sport or club, our athletic programs have mandatory study halls as well. We are rolling out a big after-school tutoring initiative this year with federal funding as well. So that would be a big push for a lot of our students this year, just to get them back up to speed.
And again, our teachers also have office hours that for the enrichment so that students aren't left behind.
So I see you all are presenting on sports for the freshman class, so I'm a little bit, I guess I need a little bit more clarification. I have, my 9th grader is interested, and has been interested in sports before COVID, joining this volleyball. I noticed that your website is not up to date as far as like tryouts and things of that nature. I received a small little packet from Wilson, and my understanding, unless I misunderstood it, is that 9th graders would not be able to join sports?
No, 9th graders, please join sports.
Join sports?
Yes, they can participate.
So where can we find
contact Athletic Director Mitch Gordon.
And they've updated
And this is also on the slide.
website, has all the updates on it.
Yeah.
It was updated,
It's on the website, and again, it's on this slide with his phone number and his email address. Okay?
JV volleyball is tomorrow.
JV volleyball is tomorrow.
One more question.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Our play is happening?
Yes, it is planned, and we have scheduled certain plays.
Can you repeat that?
Our
Our
plays,
plays?
yeah, our plays still going to happen, like the Wilson players and things like that. Yes, we're going to still move forward with plays.
Is August 27th an orientation day, a makeup orientation day?
No, it's just makeup device pickup day. We're not going to do a makeup orientation day for students for a variety of reasons, but we are posting all this information on our school website. We're also posting the recording of this session as well. It is scheduled for the 22nd. Yeah, we'll communicate back to school night information, things like that, whether it be in person or virtual. And that's it. That's it for our